Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Lotus Chat episode 46. And we are so glad to have you with us again for another week, both on Spotify and on YouTube. Thank you to everyone for being here. And on today's episode, we have our Lotus Lady, Zian.
Hi.
And Lotus Lady, Laura.
Hello.
So the three of us are going to be talking about a really great topic, and it's definitely in line with, the season right now. So we thought, why not? Let's talk about it. And I'm sure everybody probably has heard about this. New Year's resolutions. Why are they a good thing? So that is today's topic. And I would love to hear everybody's perspective on this episode today. And if anything that you hear today resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. I'm going to put this out there right now in case you have a thought or in case a question comes up. You can reach us at lotuschatworldwide@gmail.com. And we'll also be putting it down in the description box below. So let's go ahead and get started, guys. So New Year's resolutions. Why are they a good thing? And what is a resolution to begin with? Who would like to define that for us today?
I'll start. Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. When I think of New Year's resolutions, I think of clinging glasses of champagne at a party with streamers and Old Lang Syne, the song being played, and kissing your partner, and all of those wonderful things. And then you say, I got to have a New Year's resolution. So it pops out of your mind and you say, for the new year, I'm going to make this change. I'm going to do something different. Mm-hmm. The problem is when you do that little bit of planning and thinking, it's just kind of an immediate thing. So for me, when I think of a New Year's resolution, I think of people in all walks of life who say, I'm going to do something different. It can be anything from I'm going to lose weight, to I'm going to stop smoking, to I'm going to be nicer to my neighbor, to I'm going to find my life partner, to I'm going to become a spiritual guru and take a retreat up to Mount Everest. I mean, it just runs the whole gamut. So a New Year's resolution to me is there's a kind of a derogatory term. It's really just kind of I'm going to do this. And if there's not a lot of thought in it, it can be pretty shallow. And for me, I think they're good. And we're going to talk a little bit later about why it can be good, but I think they're good if you really want to make lasting changes. It's an opportunity to really do some self-reflection, some self-growth, and to say, I really want to make a difference. And through this resolution, this is how I can do it. We were talking earlier, and I like the term change, life change. Every time I think of New Year's resolution, I think of all the times I said I was going to stop eating and it lasted for 6 hours. So, I think that for me, maybe more life changes. And so that's what I think of a New Year's resolution. I think they're good and can lead to great things. And we're going to talk about when that occurs. Zian, tell us about what you think a New Year's resolution is, and do you think they're good?
Well, I think the term New Year's resolution is a bit of up there, a bit like too big, and it's like, ooh, I better say something smart if it's a New Year resolution. So to me, goals, directions, like you say, life changes, all kind of revolves around the same meaning. So I think why it's a good thing to have a New Year's resolution, or I like to put it in a term, it gives a sense of direction. So like a sense of where you're heading towards, like a sense of this is my focus for the year. So I see it from that point of view. And I think it's a good thing because, it points your mind to something, Yeah. What do you think, Jen?
Yeah, Laura, Zian, I think you both hit the nail on the head. I'm glad that I'm amongst fellow peers who feel the same way about resolutions. But for anyone out there who, every year makes a resolution, we definitely, know that is a great starting point. to setting yourself up for the new year. For me personally, I don't use the term resolution, New Year's resolution. I used to, I'll be honest, I used to, but then it got to the point where I realized that I was making these resolutions, and during the year, I wouldn't necessarily follow through. And then it would make me feel a little bad that I didn't follow through. So like, for example, there was one year where I said I would, X out all sweets for at least the year. And sure enough, I found myself, sipping on some Coca-Cola and eating some cupcakes. And I'm like, well, there goes my resolution. And I felt really bad because I was like, oh, I let myself down. Like, why didn't I follow through? And so it got to the point where I started thinking, why not think of it differently? And I'm going to make some plans for myself for the new year that are positive plans that will, enrich my life in some way or enrich others' lives. So that's what I started doing. And it's actually worked where, like, right now I'm in the process of just reviewing my past year and what has come and what I've done and what I wanted to do, but didn't really see myself being able to do, or something happened, whatnot. And I think, okay, so what plans am I going to make for the new year? Like what, like as Deanne said, what am I going to focus on? Or as Laura said, what are some goals that I'm going to make to try to reach for 2023? So that's how I think of it now. I don't say what are, my New Year's resolutions anymore. I just say, what are my 2023 plans?
Plans. I like that. Plans is a nice word.
Yeah. So on that tangent, like we were talking about goals, like I know sometimes some of us can set like these lofty goals for ourselves. And I spoke a little bit about it right now, where I said, like, you set this goal and when you don't reach it, it makes you feel kind of bad. I am curious to see like what, everyone here thinks about, like, how does one set a goal and an attainable one, for example? Like, what are some things that we can help our viewers and listeners in that department with?
Well, Jen, I think that you really have to do a little bit of thinking ahead of time as to what it is that you want to accomplish in your life. What is it that you want to do? Normally, when I hear people say, I want to stop smoking, or I want to stop drinking, or I want to stop eating, or whatever it is, there's usually a bigger goal. And that would be, I want a healthier lifestyle. Maybe I want to feel better. Maybe I want more energy. If our goal is, I want to be nice to the neighbor, I want to find my life partner, I want to reconnect with an old friend, that really is more of a, I'm sorry, the word just escaped me, but that's more of a strategy. And the larger goal for that would be relationships. I want to improve my relationships. I don't want to be fighting with a neighbor. I want to reconnect with an old friend who I had a falling out with. Whatever it is. So I think we really have to look at what is the goal, not what is the step I'm going to take. And sometimes for me, my resolutions or life changes haven't worked because I'm focused on the steps instead of what I'm trying to achieve. For me this year and for the past couple years, has been to improve my spiritual life, or my inner life, my inner work. How am I connecting to myself? Am I realizing self-care? Am I being my authentic self with others? And so that's a larger goal of finding my journey spiritually. And we were talking, Zian and I were talking, that's not necessarily religion, it's spiritually on a spiritual level. And so for me, that's my goal. It would be really easy to say, I'm going to journal every day. Well, I'm going to honestly tell you, I'm not going to journal every day. So I've already picked my resolution already. I've already flunked it. So, but for me, I think it's going to be a better goal for me if I have steps in plan. So my plan is to start meditating. It's to start writing in my journal, not every day, but certain days. It's going to be working with my life coach. It's going to be participating in webinars on topics that interest me. So I have a lot of steps, but I have a larger goal. And for me, I feel if I do that, I'm going to be more successful, because if I miss a step, that doesn't mean my goal is unreachable. It means that I get to make it up somewhere else. How about you, Cian? What is your goal for the next year?
Well, I've always heard clients talking about goals that are very related to a sense of doing, which means they want like a better car, they want a promotion, and all
Yes.
that related to a sense of doing. But I actually think a missing element is actually focusing on a sense of being, like, what do you want to be, and from what sense? Instead of just focusing on the external, we can also focus on the internal. So my goal actually for this year is to have a new pattern of thinking, in the sense that every time when I have a thought, I usually go like 5 steps, or sometimes it goes like 10 steps, and it comes really, really quickly and really fast. But my new pattern of thinking, my direction is I just want to think it at that present moment, just one step. And specifically, I want to just assume that every thought that I have is from a best intention from someone. Like, to just immediately, there has to be the instant thought that comes into my mind. So that's really my goal for this year. What about you, Jenn?
Oh, I love it. I love what you both said. I love it. And there's a part of me that has put both of those plans into my like personal plans for 2023. I know also for me, I'm going to be honest, like I know that I tend to live in my head a lot, and I tend to overthink a lot. So my plan for 2023, and I do a lot of like, spiritual, internal, like all of that, like a lot. But I've realized that sometimes for me, I get so caught up in the mental space that I don't really like embrace the external stuff happening around me. I don't live in the present moment nearly as much as I wish that I could or should. So that is my plan for 2023. I'm going to embrace what comes and live in the present moment, no matter what it is, and really just be. Like you said, Cian, a state of being, because I know I've missed out on a couple of things the last couple of years because I was such an overthinker. Yeah. So in that frame of mind, like I feel that in terms of being successful in that practice, it's definitely going to take a lot for me to take myself out of myself, and like just go out, meet new people, go, if somebody says hello, say hi back. Like, you never know who you're going to meet, like, going places, or saying yes to those invitations, even though I may be tired that day and I don't want to leave the house. And, it's one of those things where I'm going to stop hermiting, as I call it. I've called it my hermiting years. So how about you guys? Like, what are some things that you feel like you can do for some of the stuff that you mentioned as certain goals for your new year?
So for me, and we've talked before to our listeners, both Cian and I have coaching clients. And so what I'm doing with mine, and I do the homework myself, I don't ask them to do anything I'm not willing to do. And that's developing a map. And the map is what's our overarching goal and what are the steps that we're going to take to get there. I have kind of a hard time with that because I'm more heart driven. And for me, that feels head driven. But if I don't have some kind of accountability, then my heart just kind of races and goes off into all kinds of places, and I never really accomplish what I want. So this is an oversimplification, but I find most people are, like Jenn said, they're either in their head analyzing or they're in their heart just feeling, and I'm a feeler. But I love the map concept. So let's go to my example. For me is to increase my spiritual awareness and my journey. And so on my map, I'm going to be doing things that are outside my comfort zone. I'm going to go to classes. I'm going to read books that I wouldn't normally read. I'm going to be working with my own life coach. And I'm going to be doing some things that I don't normally do. I'm going to be reaching out to people. So for me, that life map for the year will help me kind of stay focused and kind of say, these are the things. That doesn't mean that I can't change it. Doesn't mean that I can't adjust it along the way. It just means that I've got a map. And if I'm somebody that needs accountability, I'm going to have a buddy that's going to help me with accountability. So those are some of the steps I'm going to take this year on that one. How about you, Zian?
I think as we are creating new goals and directions and making plans for the new year, I always find that a missing element for this is that we don't attach an emotion to the goal. So for listeners out there who's listening to it, I think it's very important when you create a goal, a plan, or a direction, it's very important to attach an emotion to the goal, because everything that we want to achieve actually ultimately leads to a feeling. It results to a feeling that we want to achieve. So whether it's a feeling of being successful, a feeling of being wanted, or a feeling of some sort. So do ask yourself, what is that feeling that you want to achieve? Because when you merge the emotion and the feeling together, then we will be able to sustain for the whole year. I think that's very, very important. And very interestingly, when Laura mentioned that, the other day, a friend asked me, what is the difference between an accountability mentor and an accountability friend? What's the difference? Make a wild guess, both of you. So I told that friend, the difference is that when you have an accountability mentor, they're not enrolled in your BS. When you have a friend, they are enrolled in your excuses, your BS, and they most likely probably join you in your excuses. So that's the key difference. So what about you, Jen?
Wow. Thank you for explaining that, because now you're making me think, who's my accountability mentor and who are my accountability friends? Have I been in the presence of an accountability mentor? Absolutely. And I know everyone here, the Lotus ladies here, have been in the same courses that I've taken, where you have somebody who is like, no, you're making excuses. That's an excuse. While I do have wonderful friends out there, and I know that I'm, she's probably listening in right now, she's probably thinking like, yeah, I've told Jen a million times, like, why is she doing that? But I'm gonna let Jen do whatever she wants, because you can't tell Jen what she's gonna do. And so I agree. It's really important to have that accountability mentor who's going to tell you, you're making an excuse. If this is your goal, how are you going to reach that goal? What did you do today to get that much closer to your goal? The mind mapping that Laura mentioned, I actually had a friend just show me her map of something. And I was like, wow, it's really great, because for us visual people to see like all the little steps and pieces that go into that one, central goal. Those are all really great, like, tactics and ways that you can help yourself reach that 2023 goal. For me, like, one of my goals, I know that is I want to diversify my finances, because I know not only can I help myself, but if there's more that I'm bringing in, I can help more people, more people that I love. So like my plans are to get out there and sell online and do different online things. So I decided, why not? It's a little extra coming in that can help, and who knows, maybe I'll expand it further. But my plan is to continue to, put that out there into the internet space. And another one of my goals is to renew my passport, so that I have more opportunities to travel, because I really want to go and see Lotus ladies. So I need to renew that passport. So these are all like things that I think about, like, how am I going to do it? And so, make that appointment to, do my application, get those passport photos. So anyways, those are just some of the things that I know for me personally that I'm doing, and to help, make things successful for me. And I thank everybody out there for, again, being with us. And Zian, do you have any closing remarks for us today?
No, I just want to wish everyone a happy new year, and what a wonderful journey it's been for Lotus Chat. What about you, Laura?
I just want to say thank you to our listeners and tell you how much we appreciate you for listening over this past year. And we will be back to talk more about topics that affirm you and resonate with you. So please let us know if you have any ideas in the comments section or at lotuschatworldwide@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube so that there's a notice that comes up every time we post. And please follow us on Spotify. We would love to know that you are listening and that it's resonating with you. And so for us, we have a question for you listeners at the end of this time. And that question is, what life change are you or plan are you making for the new year? How will it affect you and how will it affect those around you? Be thinking of that and ponder that as you're having fun New Year's Eve and as you plan for 2023. So I just want to say thank you to the Lotus ladies here. Thank you. It has just been such a privilege to be with you tonight, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Anyway, thank you to the listeners, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.